Hey, today we are talking about the third pillar in the House of the Orange Room. It's the House of the Orange Room. Awakening the Five Pillars is your online program, all about awakening fully the second energy center, which we refer to as the Orange Room. You talk about creativity, passion, sexuality, emotions, and money in the entire program. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about sexuality. How do the angels view sexuality?
Sexuality is one of the most creative driving forces that we have, that we engage in. And the second energy center starts as a triangle body in our sexual organs and comes out to our hips and crosses over. And so when we're working with our sexuality, we're in full activation of the orange room.
So the entire triangle you're saying is fully activated.
It's fully activated. By the time we get to this piece of sexuality, we have really opened up our energy body. And sexuality is about personal power and self-love. And it is the expression of self. And many people view it as just how we look upon another being. Absolutely not. Because when that is in full order, we're drawing in that incredible partnership. We're drawing in these incredible people into our lives. We're walking in our full power center.
And it's collaborative power in every realm of our life, not just like a true, love partnership. Can you talk a little bit about that?
When we are truly engaging our true sexuality, we are engaging ourselves in a place where we know whom we are. So we're calling out to the world to beacon and be received in our own personal self-love and our personal space of power. Many people believe the power resonates higher, but the true power within is the creative force that we're awakening through creativity, through our passion, through our sexuality. So at this point, our sexuality is an abundance of whom we are in our personal reality.
So by the time we have reached this piece in the course, going like from what you said, creativity to passion to sexuality, this is where the individualistic piece really is starting to be elevated. Is that correct?
That is correct, because this piece, if we think about our sexual being, it's a master creator. We create life from this being. And when we are procreating within our own sexual energy, we are creating an abundance of self-awareness to create the life we truly desire. It's our creative portal.
When I first started working with this program, it felt like I had just decided to trust the entire process. Of course, I do with you and every piece of work you bring forth. But I had a big question mark about does sexuality really belong there? And it wasn't until several weeks of working with it where there was a situation that just stopped me in my tracks, and I got it on a very personal level. And I remember just sort of smiling and my family looking back at me like, what? And there was no way to explain the aha moment that I just had, but I understood.
Sexuality belongs in this placement in our formula because we have to do the work to understand that we can create the life we deserve. We have to do that work. We have to understand that we have to be responsible for the life we deserve. And then we have to have the passion to drive it. And before we get into the energy of our own sexuality, we have to be really confident to understand that we're creating. And so here we are in this place now, we're learning about self-love and self-power and walking with a very powerful force and walking with an incredible desire to be within our most truest form, and that is self-love. That's why this formula, that's why it's the third pillar in the House of the Orange Room.
It became such an apparent intentional practice of having the opportunity to choose the kind of life, but also having the responsibility to be really specific in my choices, not just like by default or any kind of like vague, oh, that sounds great, but like really specific.
And so here we are in our sexuality, and we're starting to really recognize what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And so doing this work allows us to be incredibly truthful with our own being of what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Who do we want within our world? How do we want the world to show up for us? What do we want to create in this world? And by this point of finishing in our sexuality, we recognize what it is we really want to bring in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So good. So the next piece we'll talk about is emotions, and then the final piece will be money. Thanks so much, Alexa.
Thank you. Love and light.
Thank you.